Okay, so hello community. I'm Vedang Lokhande and this is my technical presentation on LG Web Voice, wherein we will do some front-end refinements so they can handle accent support, like different accent, and maybe add some new commands to the LG voice page, web voice page. So let's understand how LG Web Voice command system works. So we use Web Speech API in the front end that takes the speech and converts it to text. The key thing here is we use web speech API and do case switch cases, and we are currently and in here we are not using AI models. We like you will find some more resources on AI server at LG that can be used as an assistant and that can understand you and it can run commands on your LG rig. Next, command execution. So we match voice inputs with predefined actions that are the switch cases. And I would also say that following this video, you can expand the command functionality of the LG web front end that whose GitHub is at Yashraj Bharti, like Yashraj Bharti's GitHub page. So following this YouTube video, you can add more commands to the LG voice page. Then how does the LG web voice command work? So first of all, user clicks on the mic and says any command like fly to New York. Then the browser captures it and converts the text. Okay. Then switch case logic identifies the command and then we send it to the API and the backend server then sends a command to our LG rig and say the camera moves to New York. So here's a code example of switch case logic. So herein we say command, and if there's a fly to command, ignore the New York for here. So it will move to location and it will extract city from here and then move to New York. Similarly, if say the case is zoom in, we'll call this function. And if we don't find any relevant command, we'll say command not recognized or no command found. So identification. So to add a new command, you'll need to know what the command does. Example, say rotate left, that rotates the earth say around 10 to 20 degrees. Then add a switch case logic. So you could write in say rotate earth or rotate left. Then we'll need to write some functions like rotate function that that maybe calls in a web API that then talks with our LG rig, and you can test those with voice input after all of them after it has been integrated. So one key problem that I found here was um, it doesn't actually support much of an accent support. So single language command. So originally system only supports one language, say English, and the accent needs to be similar to a native English speaker. This limits access for non-English speaker, maybe due to their accent. Also, the commands are currently just in English. You can also, I'm thinking of why not add some other languages. Okay, now this required a solution. So here is an example. Let's say Ira New York. That means go to New York. Um, if I do write commands for it, it should go to New York. And in the front end, when I say Era New York, it actually perceives it as Era New York. But in my version of code, um, it perceives it correctly as intended. So we could add some accent support to this. Here, it's the English, what you can say, letters that are used. We could also go like Hindi or some other Arabic letters, for example. So Arabic letters could be easily mapped with code, and the perception of our web page would be quite good if we do that. So here I have put a drop down menu for language picker. So benefits of multilingual support would be global reach, so more people could use it, improved enhancement. So non-English speaker could also contribute to this, and inclusive education. So we support inclusivity by doing this. Okay, so objectives here are multilingual voice interaction. So we try to enable multi-language support. Then we also try to convert spoken commands in text and run them. And lastly, we also do some accent support so that recognition is quite good. So how we would implementing this would be voice input basic, then command mapping will be using switch case, and system actions would be functions that we write in our voice.mjs page that are sent to Liquid Galaxy system. Again, this is a basic workflow. You can read it once, say voice input detection. It's the same as in last page that I have shown you. So some code example for switch case logic. Say we have language as English, and you do a switch case of what all languages or word that you find, and then call appropriate functions. Same for Spanish, same for Arabic or Hindi. So here we actually convert English letters to lowercase for easier comparison and not using capital letters. So this would be followed by a demonstration of adding a new command. As of now, the commands include relaunch, reboot, orbit Earth, send logo, and clear logo, send camel, clear camel. I am thinking of explaining you with a new command of go to CTX. Say, when I say go to New York, it would uh, the LG rig would revolve and point me to New York. It is a basic command. Herein we echo a certain city name derived from the voice input. So user will also try to add multi-accent support. So user speaks commands in different languages, and system corresponds actions. Okay. Okay, so first of all, I'll show you the changes in code that I have made, and followed by this, I'll show you how it looks like in our app. So, first of all, this is the LG Web main project directory. Herein, we go into the JS folder. Therein, there are two files that we need to change. First is the voice.mjs in components, and the second one is speech.mjs in the utils folder. So voice.mjs would be the front end representation of the page. So herein we render a certain HTML CSS code. You can say this. I'll collapse it for now. And then we have some get by element IDs, some variables that get the the value that we will be getting from the UI. So mic button, message, etc. will get this, and then we are using speech recognition. So first of all, we'll try to activate speech recognition. If it's not, we'll show this message. It does not support or something like that. Then we will also be having a drop down option. So a language select, Um, and if the case is this, will change the recognition language to the appropriate given one. I'll show you the picker once. So this is the picker. This is a basic picker with no absolute CSS. So the option would be English, Hindi, Spanish. You could also add Arabic to it. Then moving on, we have I have made this new function here. I mean, I have made some changes in this. So I believe these were already present in the original version. Then we changed the recognition language, okay, to the language that is selected. Then recognition language equal to recognition select dot value. So basic default language would be English, and when we do change it to say Spanish or Arabic, we'd see a console log saying speech recognition updated to. So we also have an event listener so that when language is changed, you call this function update recognition language that later on says language updated. So this is the original code. I won't be explaining it as of now. I feel it is self-explanatory. So the only changes here would be this picker, and later on, on speech end, you say recognition stop and remove animations. The animation of the bar moving, I believe, if it doesn't, if it has any error or it it doesn't recognize, it say you didn't say anything, try again. And overall, that would be it for the voice.mjs page. The next and important one would be the speech.mjs. Herein, the basic commands that are written are like clean logo, clean balloon, clean camel, reboot, relaunch, send, show, stop, and something new that I have added is select language. So let's say English or Espanol, and say my command is go to say go to Spain. So what this command will do is it would say if the lowercase includes go, or if it is Hindi and includes chalo, or it is Espanol and it includes era, then it would get the city from the function defined below, and we get the city, we'll console it, and we use this command go to city X. After it is navigated, we say successfully navigated. If not, we say failed, and we also say city name is not recognized in case of any errors. Similarly, you could say relaunch. So if our command includes relaunch or launch, it would use the launch function that is actually defined somewhere in APIs. So to make a new command, you'll need to go to API and write a new command here. Say I have written a new command of go to city X. So this small function, what it does is it gets the LG configurations from your local storage. It extracts them, say the server username, IP port, and password. Then, given this backend API, you call the API. So the server would be around localhost 3000 or anything, and endpoint is this. So you concatenate this and post it with a JSON header attached to it, or JSON body attached to it. Um, then we we fetch data related to it, or call that API, and console any errors or success report. That would be it for the front end. Now let's go into the backend code. Okay. So the backend code, usually it goes like, you'll have a basic server file. Just a second. So you have this controller, you have this middleware, you have these routers. So router would be like, if you get this um, endpoint, you try to use this utility, okay, and services. So these would be the functions that we use. So here in two, you need to do some changes, like we'll need to go one by one in this. So in controllers, let's go here. So I have added a controller go to city. So it gets everything from the body. Then go to city service, will define it later, it calls it, and then sends back the needed thing to the user. This is the error middleware. This is the router I've shown you before. Go to city calls in a go to city function. Then in the services page, you write this new code of the new command that you want to add here. Here, first of all, you connect with the client. Then you do an SSH. Okay. Then you echo a command. Say I want to do a go to city X. So we say search equal to city name and put that to temporary folder and in the file name query.txt. Then you execute the command. I mean, first of all, we log it, then we execute the command using command execute. And let's say it then goes to city. It console logs any result or anything that we get and say successfully navigated to the city. You catch any error if it occurs. And finally, terminate the connection with client. So the last one, no, this doesn't have anything. So now let's see a demonstration of this. I'll show you a quick demonstration of the new command I added, and accent support and multilingual support in this web app. Okay, so this is the LG app that I'm running on port 4003. First of all, I'll connect it. It is already connected. I'll show you that it works by sending a KML. Um, as we can see, it goes to the California wildfire. That is the first basic KML that is inbuilt. Then I will go to this mic and say Hindi. I say Chalo Mumbai, and let's see, it goes to Mumbai. Uh, Actually, it's grammatically wrong to say Chalo Mumbai. It should be Mumbai Chalo. We could also say in English like go to Spain. So it goes to Spain. We could also speak in Spanish, but I'm not that fluent in Spanish, so I'll leave it up to you. But you can see it sees the accent recognition well. And thank you. Okay, so some challenges here were dialects and accents. Even though this is a good approach, I still think we could use AI and LLMs for multilingual support. Um, some things that can be done are more accents are and more languages could be added. But the thing is, we'll need to hard code them as of now for this approach. Mm, and yep, but the thing would be AI and LLMs would require computationally more powers and a dedicated server, AI server that you can maybe get from Docker Hub. You'll need to set up your Docker image and all. So it might be a bit lengthy procedure if you like. You could see up for multilingual LLMs. I have researched a bit, and we do have some LLMs that support multiple languages and user inputs. And that's it. Thank you for watching this presentation. I would be answering your questions in the YouTube chat or Discord chat, and feel free to ask any questions you have about this. Thank you.